So, your friend just died. Right in front of you. You're a Templar, and right now you're in the middle of a war where everyone wants you dead. Death isn't far away, so it's just a few seconds from you. But let's go back 18 years, back to when you were just born. It's the 12th century, and you're in the Holy Land. Your mom just gave birth to you, and guess what's the first thing your dad said? Nothing, because he was already dead. He was a Templar, just like you are now, and you don't get time to be a baby. There's no milk, no diapers, no gentle hands rocking you to sleep. Everyone's just waiting for you to turn 1 so the real training can begin. And honestly, your life as a child isn't any better than your life as an adult. We're talking about food. There's no milk, no cereals, nothing a kid actually likes. Unlike other babies who get hugged and breastfed, a baby born into the Templars is seen as a future warrior, not a child. Milk? Nah, too soft. Instead, they give you thin oatmeal or some kind of bland, watery food. If you're lucky, maybe an old woman gives you goat's milk, but even that's rare. Either way, you better get used to bad food. This is just the beginning. Sleep isn't much better. No cozy bed, no soft blankets, just a wooden box or a pile of straw. While normal babies fall asleep to their parents telling them stories, you fall to the sound of monks singing in Latin. If you cry, nobody picks you up. The monks believe crying builds character, so they just let you figure it out. Then come the teeth. Most babies get soft toys to bite on to help with the pain, but they hand you a small block of wood. You start biting it and then monks nod in approval. He's one of us. And don't even ask about the rest of the meals. It only gets worse. No candy, no warm meals, just dry bread, watery soup, and whatever old leftovers they think will keep you humble. Meanwhile, rich kids are eating roasted meat, and even poor kids get hot stew. But you eat worse than a prisoner. By the time you're walking, you've already been trained to stand still for long prayers. No fun, no playing, just a bunch of serious old men telling you about sacrifice. If you laugh too much, they tell you that it's the devil's influence. If you refuse to eat, they force it down your throat. If you cry too much, they just tell you to man up, even though you're just a few months old. At this point, you're not really a kid. You're just a tiny warrior in training, waiting for the day they finally hand you a sword and tell you to go die for the cause. And then you turn 5. That's when it all starts. You're handed your first sword, and bam, the real training begins. Now, let's not sugarcoat this. Training at 5 years old is tough. While other kids your age are napping, learning to say mama, or pooping themselves, you're out here trying to hold a sword that's half your size, and learning how to fight like you're in a battle for your life. Ridiculous, right? But what's even more ridiculous are the kinds of drills they put you through. You're 5 years old, sword in hand, doing exercises most adults would struggle with. One minute you're swinging your sword like you're preparing for a big battle, the next you're learning to kneel for hours without moving an inch, because apparently that builds strength of character. But honestly, what's even harder than the training itself is hearing the yelling and barking of the monks who train you. These monks are anything but friendly, and rest isn't in their vocabulary. They expect you to work non-stop, and if you stop because you're tired, they make fun of you, calling you a failure in front of everyone else. So this same routine of training, eating, and sleeping goes on year after year until you're 10. This is the year you're finally going to fight in real wars, and it's the year you get your knight armor, the stuff you only heard about in stories. And trust me, you don't want to wear this armor even for 5 minutes. It's heavy as hell, like having rocks strapped all over your body. Every step you take feels like you're dragging an entire mountain behind you. Walking in it is a sport itself, and let's not mention running with it. Just forget about that. The armor weighs about 60 pounds, which is basically carrying a full-grown person with you everywhere you go. And the crazy part is that you have to wear it all day long, the whole day. From the moment you wake up, you're in that thing. You can't take it off until you're about to crash into the bed. It's like being trapped inside a cage of metal, but no one's letting you out. Standing is exhausting enough, but when you need to sit, good luck. The armor doesn't bend or adjust, so you're stuck, stiff and sore. Every moment feels like you're working against your own body. But this is it. This is the life of a Templar, and you've got no choice but to get used to it. Since you're always in your armor, bathing is a rare luxury. You basically smell like a dead rat after just a few days of wearing it. You might get a bath, once a month, if you're lucky. But most of the time, you're stuck smelling like sweat, horse, and the leftovers from the battlefield. Deodorant doesn't exist yet, so there's no way to cover it up. You just get used to it, and after a while, you don't even realize how bad you smell. Anyone who walks near you can instantly smell death in the air. It's like the smell has become a part of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. The idea of feeling fresh or clean is long gone. You're a knight now, and that kind of stuff isn't for you. As you get older, around 12 years old, life just gets worse. Now, you're fighting everyone, and I mean everyone. It's a constant battle against rival knights, rogue mercenaries, and sometimes even the Pope himself. One day, you're a hero, praised for your courage. Next, you're being accused of heresy by someone powerful who just happens to have a problem with you. Your name gets dragged through the mud, and you have no choice but to fight to clear it. And quitting? That's not even a thing. It's not an option. If you ever think to yourself that maybe you don't want to die in some random desert for a war you barely understand, too bad. You don't get to walk away. The only way out of the Templars is through death, either dying in battle or getting executed for desertion. There's no running, no backing out. You're in it for life, whether you like it or not. And speaking of death, you might die in the stupidest ways possible. If the battlefield doesn't get you, disease will, or starvation, or something as ridiculous as getting your armor stuck in a mud pit and drowning. You could be right in the middle of a battle, swords clashing, and end up choking in the mud because your armor is too heavy to move. You're constantly battling not just against enemies, but the environment, your own body, and the complete randomness of it all. And when you really stop to think about it, death doesn't look that bad. You're just a broke man, with nothing to your name, no wealth, no freedom. You might be fighting in wars over riches, but you'll never get to see any. The Templars control insane amounts of money, land, and treasures, but as a member, you get paid in prayers and a bed of hay. Instead of standing right next to the chest of gold, stacked high just within reach, well, your own dinner is nothing more than dry bread and thin watery soup. You're part of one of the wealthiest organizations in the world, yet you live like a beggar. At some point, you start to wonder if it would be easier to just give up and let death come. They don't give you a penny for everything you do for them. Nothing. Not even a simple thank you. These are psychopaths who are always chasing you to fight for them, using you as nothing more than a tool in their endless war. You have to do exactly what they tell you, no matter what, or face the consequences. And let me tell you, you'll find out what happens when you don't follow their orders the moment you turn 15. At that age, they start terrorizing anyone who dares to disobey in the worst ways possible. And don't think they just kill you and call it a day. No, they're much more evil than that. If you step out of line, they make sure you die slowly, painfully, and in the most gruesome way imaginable. They'll first kill your family, if any of them are still alive, right in front of you. Watch them suffer, helpless, before they make sure you never forget what happens when you defy them. Then, just when you think that it can't get any worse, they rip your body apart, piece by piece, while you're forced to watch it all. That's the price of disobedience in the Templars. And if you survive, if you somehow make it through that hell, you'll know exactly what it means to fear them. But let's say that you were a good boy, followed their rules, and somehow made it through. At what cost though? You just turned 18, and that's when the real hell begins. This year is the year you get sent to the big wars, the wars that actually matter. You're not just some kid anymore. You're thrown right into death. If you made any friends, any connections at all, this is the end for them. Everyone is sent to war, and almost nobody makes it out alive. In war, everything changes. As a Templar Knight, you're thrown into a battle where surviving is all that matters. It's not about fighting anymore, it's just about staying alive. The sounds of swords clashing, arrows flying, and screams through the air. You'll watch soldiers that you fought beside fall in seconds, and you'll have to keep going like nothing ever happened. You can't stop. You can't cry. If you hesitate, it's over for you. It's kill or be killed. You'll see things that no one should have to see. Bodies all over the battlefield, some of them your friends. You might even end up stuck in the middle of it all, fighting for your life with no one left to help. And if you somehow survive the war, even if you make it out alive, your own clan might betray you. It doesn't matter how loyal you are. They might just decide they think that you're a spy or that you've been working with other clans. The second they suspect you of anything, they'll turn on you. They'll accuse you of things that you didn't do, and the people you fought beside could be the ones to take you down. You learn fast that trust is weak in the Templars. One wrong move, one tiny mistake, and you can end up fighting against your own brothers. This was a Templar's life, or at least part of it, since most don't even survive past 18. Now compare that to the life of a ninja. While a Templar is stuck in constant battles and has no choice but to follow orders, a ninja works in the shadows, staying hidden and choosing their moves carefully. It sounds like it could be a more flexible, controlled life, right? If you want to know why the ninja life isn't all it's cracked up to be, check out my other video where I break down exactly why it sucks. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to experience this hell, and I'll see you there.